DZ community, welcome back to another video here with Kyle Chris. And today, we're going to go into a discussion over the SS4 Goku deck that is coming out in set 20. As always, make sure you guys like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I'm planning on trying to do a kind of a competitive breakdown for each one of these decks on my Patreon. I think I have like 3 of them done. I just haven't posted them yet because I'm trying to do all of them, kind of have them all come out the week of set 20 release. So we have a little bit of time. I'm trying to get those done. I'm trying to fly through these deck building videos so we can get this part done so I can then finish the rest of those. But yeah, we're going to go into the Goku deck here. This is a very... I've seen some videos of people saying this is the most consistent green deck, or this deck is some sort of clickbait for it. And although I do agree, I think this deck is probably one of the more consistent green decks. I think this deck is just really good. It's very generic, and that's what makes this leader probably really good, or potentially could be very good. Is that this leader is very generic in some ways. So we're gonna go over the leader. We'll go over some of the archetype cards, and then we'll go into a deck building video and see what we can come up with as normal. So Goku, when this card is placed in your leader area, send up to 1 Android 20 Vengeful Alliance and 1 Dr. Mew Vengeful Alliance from your deck to your warp, which we'll go over that card on the next slide. When this card attacks, look up top 5 cards from your deck, add up to 1 green Saiyan from among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. This is very good. Being able to search out any Saiyan, no energy cost requirement, meaning you can search out some secret rares. It also doesn't have to be mono green, so that's also something to keep in mind too. But this also, you can search out super combos, you can search out really powerful boss monsters, archetype cards. It's very generic, and that's fantastic. Awaken when you have 4 life or less, or you have 2 or more energy while there are 2 or more Son Goku cards in your warp. You draw 1. You restand 1, you strike life down to 6. So more than likely you're going to be awakening turn 2. If you go first, you'll be awakening turn 2 pretty easily. SS4 Son Goku, betting it all. Auto, when a pan card or a card with Goku GT in its name, both green and without Son Goku GT, is placed from your drop area, from your battle area in your drop area. It's placed from your battle area in your drop area. It's very weird wording. Add it to your Z energy from your drop. So essentially, when a battle card is removed and sent to the drop, whether this is by KO, this is by effect, whatever, when it's placed in the drop from your battle area, you can add it to your Z energy from your drop. So you can do that once per turn, and this is on either turn, other than Son Goku. So when a Pan GT or a Goku GT, I'm sorry, when a Pan GT or anything else other than Goku GT. When this card attacks, draw 1 at the end of the turn. Switch up to 1 of your green Android 18 Z battle cards. And switch it to active mode. So that is pretty cool as well. I think there's 1 for the deck, so I'm not sure why you would put in a rest mode, but I guess you can swing with it probably. So alright, so here are the 2 Android cards that the leader discusses that you put into the warp from the beginning of the deck. Now these are very interesting, and I don't think you need both. Oh, no, you do. Yeah. So the Android 20 is actually the useful card. The Dr. Mew is sort of a it's a limiter, essentially. So you have this very powerful effect with Android 20, and then the Dr. Mew sort of kind of limits the overall potential of what this deck could do. So the Android 20 card, the top part does not matter because we're not playing Android 17 cards. The bottom part, if your leader is a green Son Goku GT, this card and Dr. Mew are in your warp. You may send 1 green Son Goku GT from your hand to your warp at the start of your main phase, draw 1. So essentially what you're doing is at the start of your main phase, if you have a Goku in your hand, so at the start of your main phase, I believe this will take, I don't know how it would actually operate. You might actually get to draw first from your it's probably very similar to Search Piccolo, because Search Piccolo, you were able to use the turn phase, like your main phase, to draw a card, and then use the top effect to look at the top card of your deck, scry, and then if not, you can draw another card. So this, because this takes place at the start of your main phase, you can probably do this effect first if you want to just draw two, or you can just draw the card and then activate the Android 20 effect. You warp a Goku GT from your hand, and you draw a card, which is very powerful. Essentially, you're drawing 2 new cards per turn. Now, you obviously have to have a Goku in your hand, and you have to do the effect. So if you have a Goku in your hand, you don't want to do the effect. I don't know why you wouldn't want to, but you know you might not want to. But you can do that, and then just draw another card. So this is a very powerful effect. Now the Dr. Mew kind of limits what our Android 20 can do. So the bottom effect doesn't matter. That is for the Super 17 deck. The top part, permanent if your leader is a green Goku GT, and this card is in your warp, you can't play non-green battle cards. So this is very restrictive in a sense. So like you can't play homicidal clones, which is a huge thing. So you can't play that negate, and you can't play overwhelm. Right, so those are 2 big tools kind of cut from this deck, being a tier 1 deck, right? Because you're losing the ability of the free play off of Overwhelms, and you're losing the ability of playing one of the best negates in the game just overall, which is the token negates. You can't really play those. You have to kind of focus around other things. So we'll see when we get to the deck building if that becomes a problem or not. So 2 of the Android 18 cards that come in the set, you have Wrathful Strike, which is your Z Battle card, and then For the Sake of Family. Someone should post the Android 18 For the Sake of Family card and put Vin Diesel's face on it. That'd be very funny. So the Z Battle card is a 2 Z energy cost, 1 green energy, unique barrier, and you Z stack a green Son Goku GT from your Z deck, which we'll go over that once we get to it. During your turn, while there are 2 or more green Son Goku cards in your warp, this card gains 6k, making it a 10k attacker. This is interesting. You can attack early. Might be able to attack into some small stuff. Also, you can just use it as a attacker if you'd like to. I don't know why you would, but again, you have that ability to. And then Android 18 For the Sake of Family, you search top 5, add up to 1 green Saiyan, energy cost 4 or less among them to your hand, and then shuffle. And then limit 1 if your leader is a green Goku GT. Z leader, when this card is used in a combo, it gets an extra 1k combo power for the battle, which is big. That's essentially making this a 10k combo, especially on offense. Like having a 6k combo on top of stuff, your opponent sells the combo like it's a 10k, and that can be very irritating. So this is pretty good. Just a good pseudo super combo, also searchable. It's just when it's combos, so it doesn't matter. It can be on board too, which is nice. Then we have the 2 Super Saiyan Son Gokus that come in this set that you're going to play. The 3-drop has a permanent when you have an Android 18 card in play. The card gains crit. Activate if there are 3 or more energy, and you have 3 or more pan cards and/or cards with GT in their character names, all green without Son Goku GT. In your Z energy battle area and/or drop, play this card from the warp. And then activate battle if your leader is a green Son Goku GT and one of your green Android 18 cards is in battle. Use this card from your warp in a combo. So okay, so I guess that makes sense. You can actually combo this card from your warp and put it in your... so you can essentially make your 18 a free combo, right? Now the problem is you can combo it from the warp, but how are we going to get it back into the warp? That's the issue, right? So you can't really get it back into the warp. Because you can't add it back to your hand, I don't think. We'll go into the other cards. I don't know if you can add this card back to your hand from your drop or your Z deck. The 4-drop Son Goku, while you have an Android 18 card in play, the card gains 5k. This card is played, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. That's pretty good. So it's just a spot removal for anything. And then the same activate main effect you can play from the warp if you have 3 or more energy, and then you have 3 or more GT cards and/or pan cards that are not Goku in your Z battle area and/or drop. So still very good effect. The crit one obviously is a little bit better. Actually, I don't know. Actually, no. The 4-drop might be better, just because it's spot removal. But you said you can play both these cards from the warp. Now, so we have. Let's see what else we got here. So now we have the 4 Spirit of Resistance Archetype cards, there also is a Pan that is a super combo. I just didn't feel like putting it on here because it's a super combo. So Vegeta, if your leader is a Son Goku GT, for each green Son Goku GT card in your warp, reduce the energy cost in your hand by 1. So you can make it down to a 1 cost. When this card is played, draw 1. Discard 1 card from your hand and choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards at a cost of 4 or less and KO it. This is good. So this is also some cycle. And you can just kill a 4 or less when it attacks. And then auto, if your leader is a green Son Goku GT card, when this card is used in a combo, choose up to one of your green Saiyans and it gains double strike for the battle. So this is also good. So this is a in archetype Champa. Again, probably reasons as to why Champa and Kai Double Strike will probably end up being banned in the future, because we're starting to see more and more of these in archetype cards. There's just no reason to run those cards anymore, or they just won't be banned and people just won't play them because you have in archetype ones. So Son Gohan counterplay for 1, technically for let's see here. So permanent, if your leader is a green Son Goku, same effect as before. I actually think every one of these cards, yeah, all 4 of these cards have the same effect, so I'm not going to read that effect. But if you have 2, or if you have Goku's in the warp, this card gets reduced by 1. So the Gohan, the Goten, and the Trunks can all be 1 cost. If you have 1 Goku, Vegeta would be 2, which makes sense because Vegeta is a rare. So Gohan, if you have one Goku in the warp, it becomes 1 cost. Counterplay, you have to pay another green. Play this card if the battle card being played is 4 or less, place in the owner's drop instead. That's kind of cool. So it's a 2-drop that pops anything 4 or less coming in. This card's played, draw 1, choose one of your opponent's unisons, and remove a marker off of it. So this is cool. So it's a tap 2, you draw a card, and then you get to pop a marker off a unison. So that's actually not too bad. If your leader is a green Son Goku GT, I'm not reading that again, sorry. On this card's played, draw 1, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, and a cost of 1, and KO it. That's cool. Very particular spot removal, but it still draws a card. If your leader is green Son Goku GT, when you add this card to your Z energy, draw 1 and discard 1 card from your hand. That's interesting. So this card you probably want to use at the combo more, but when you add this card to your Z energy, okay, so when you add it to your Z energy, when you just combo it from any area, you draw a card and discard 1. Okay, and then Trunks, if you have 4 more energy, this card gains blocker. Auto, when this card's played, draw 1. Okay. I think this is very interesting. Every one of these cards cycles a card. Most of them are actually just hard pluses. Yeah, Goten's a plus. Yeah, Goten's an actual plus. Yeah, this is actually really cool. Interesting. And you can't overwhelm cards, which is the problem. So that is definitely an issue. But you have a built-in double striker. You have you have spot removal. Two types of spot removal. You have unison removal. You have a blocker. Yeah, this deck's got a lot of utility, and every one of these cards draws. So that's very interesting, especially for a green deck, because most green decks don't keep up with hand size very well. So then we have the SR, the Son Goku Android 18 Vital Teamwork. So this is a 20k deflect dual attack. You can play it for 2. If you have 3 more energy and a green Z battle card in play. This card's very interesting. So if your leader is a green Son Goku GT, when this card is played, choose it to one of your opponent's battle card with an energy cost less than or equal to the number of Saiyans, the number of mono green Saiyans in your drop, and KO it. It's a very big text, but it's because they want you to have these Saiyans in the drop. So less than or equal to. So you have 5 Saiyans, you can kill 5 or less. You know what I'm saying? So like it's cool, but very particular. But the auto on the attack is very interesting. So when this card attacks, opponent chooses one of their unisons with a specific cost of 3 or less and places it in the owner's drop. They don't place a card in the drop. They discard 1 card from their hand. So this has 2 big uses here. One, you can swing, and if they have a unison in play that's 3 or less, they have to put in the drop, unless if not, they drop a card. Most people are just going to drop a card, right? However, if they also don't have a unison in play, they can't choose a card to drop, so they still have to drop a card. It's a pretty cool effect. So it's a dual attacker, so you're getting 1 card out of their hand for sure, and then you're swinging again. This is a Android 18, and this is a Goku GT, so this is probably going to be a 4 in the deck because you can always warp this card. But then also this counts as 18, so if you have your other 2 Gokus in play, they will gain crit and 5k respectively. So this is a very good card. So then we have the 2 Z deck cards. We have the Z battle card that's going to be put underneath your 1-drop barrier Android 18. And then you have your Z Awakened Leader. So the Golden Dragon Fist Son Goku is a 4-cost specific 2 green, 2 Z cost. Activate main if your leader is a green Son Goku GT Z battle card. Z leader. If you have 4 more energy, and you choose one of your green Son Goku cards with an energy cost of 3 or more, play this card from under an Android 18 on top of the chosen card in active mode. So you are you have your 6 drop, right? This guy, because he counts as a Son Goku GT. So you can play on top of that. You can also play on top of the other 2 3 drops. This will restand for 2 energy. This card's played. You choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. And then while there are 3 or more pan cards and/or Goku GT cards in your character names, both green without Son Goku GT, in your Z energy battle area and drop, this card gains double strike and dual attack, which is pretty interesting. So you're essentially paying, you're paying 1 for the one for the Android 18, and later on you're paying 2 energy for this. Obviously, you still have to pay 1 energy as a minimum for one of the Gokus, so you're still having to pay. You're technically still paying 4, but you might be paying 4 at different points, right? You might be able to. You're probably gonna have to do. You're basically probably playing this card for 3 on one turn. You're playing a Goku, and then slapping this down on top of it, and then swinging twice for double strike, dual attack. So it's a very powerful effect. Doesn't have any defense. Doesn't do anything else other than to just pop something. So this is just kind of a big beater. It's a good card. It's a good card. It's I don't know if it's a big enough boss monster for this to be like utilized in that way. It's kind of like a mid-range card. Like it doesn't do anything crazy. Like if you think of like Dragon Fist that's in the yellow set, 25k dual attack double strike that your opponent can't activate counters or battle card skills, is it? That's counters. I think yeah, pretty sure it's counters. So it's a good card. It's a good card, but not going to be the big finisher for the deck. And we have full strength Kamehameha Son Goku, Z Awaken. If you have step 4 or less, you have a green Son Goku GT. I will discard 1 green card from your hand. Discard attacks, draw 2. And auto, if it's your turn, when your opponent uses a card in a combo, place up to 1 card from your opponent's combo area in the drop. Essentially, they have to combo, or you have to activate this effect on the very first combo. You can't choose because it is an auto once per turn. So once you activate it, once they proc it, you have to fulfill the full cost. If not, you won't be able to use it again. So if they just combo a dead card or something that's not a super combo, you still unfortunately have to hit the card. Active main, choose up to one of your green Z, one of your Android 18 Z battle cards to rest mode. Choose all of your opponent's battle cards with blocker, ignoring barrier. KO them, and this card gets 5k power for the turn. So this is cool. It's a very specific effect, right? So this will kill token negates. This is really good against Trunks Jita. You can just kill their Trunkses. You can get rid of the 6-drop Otherworldly Blitz. It has blocker, but it's anything with blocker, and it doesn't have to have barrier. So keep that in mind. It can just be blockers, and there are quite a few blockers. But being able to swing at your opponent, they token negate, and then you can just tap your Android 18 and just kill the token negate, and then give this card 5k. It is a very powerful effect. Honestly, this is going to be really funny against blue decks, against like the ramp blue decks that are playing like a 6-drop Vegeta if it doesn't get banned, playing Otherworldly Blitz, or like the Trunks Cheetah matchup. Like this is going to be really funny. They slam this down, they just kill their entire board. So this is a very interesting effect, and I think it will come in handy because this deck, the way we're going to try to build it is swinging with some really big boss monsters, and being able to pop blockers is going to be very important for us to be able to push damage through. I don't think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it with all the important cards from the set. So now we're going to go into the deck building portion of the video and see what we can come up with, and see if we can make this deck look as viable as possible for the beginning of set 20. Alright guys, so we are here. Start going through these cards here. See what we can come up with here. So, I was trying to look at some cards earlier, and I couldn't really find anything that I found to be, like, tech-wise. I wasn't able to find anything, so let's go in here to see what we can come up with. So, actually, first we'll do the easy stuff, and we'll start with the Z deck, because the Z deck definitely is a little bit easier to do, since it's only 7 cards. So we're going to do, obviously, 1 Z leader, which we'll do, actually, we'll just do green first. Probably the easiest. So obviously 1 full strength Kamehameha, since we have the ability to. And I probably will do 2 Android 18s. Barrier, you know, there still is a lot of barrier removal, and this card gets removed. You kind of need to have an Android 18 on board. So we'll probably do 2 of those and then 2 Gokus, which gives us 5 slots already filled. Probably do... This deck honestly builds a lot of Z energy, potentially, so I think probably 2 Jiren is probably the move. Yeah, it's probably a good combination. Now, later on, you might end up like only using 1 of these, but like I said, we'll do the 2-2 split on all of them. I just think this is better for the deck. Now, this is kind of interesting. So you can use the Jiren effect with this effect, and then now this guy can't be KO'd or can't be removed from the battle area, and it has double strike and dual attack. So that is kind of a cool little thing that you can do. And then this card, because we're gonna probably be able to build the energy pretty quickly. This will allow us to be able to use the activate main to pop off more markers. So basically, any deck you play against that has unisons is going to be demolished. So now we're going to go over the cards of the deck. Obviously, we need 1 Dr. Mew and 1 Android 20. And that's really all we need to run for these cards. We don't need to run any more, but you do have to have these cards in your deck in order to have the deck actually function. Because there's no other way to getting the Gokus into the warp. So we're going to do 4 of this guy, and then 4 of this guy, because these are your main Gokus here. And then here's the pan. Like I said, I didn't talk about the pan, but it's a 4 life or less. I actually don't know if we're going to use this. I think there's a better super combo that we can use, especially because we can't overrun. So I think we have a better thing we can run. And I also didn't go over this card here. This is Son Goku's Kamehameha Deflection. Negate the attack, and then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and it costs a 4 less and KO it. And if your leader is a green Son Goku GT, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand by pitching an extra card. So you can also pitch. You can basically play this for free by pitching a card, and then you can KO a 4 less. It is cool. I don't know if we'll end up running it. We're gonna look through the negates later on. Let's just go through the cards here and see if there's anything that we want to add. So this is gonna be a 4 of. For sure, we want more Goku GT targets. That way we make sure we can hit something, and also Android 18 stuff. So we're gonna do 4 of this guy. I'm sure this card's gonna get an SPR at some point. I think currently right now in this week we are going over the SPR releases in the TPs, so we'll probably get the SPR releases at some point this week. That card doesn't work. We have this card. Only works on Z leaders. We'll do 2 for now. We'll do 2. Vegeta. Vegeta is this is good. This is a good one. It's a double striker, so just a 1-drop attacker that can use to clear small boards. So I think this is probably gonna be a 4 of. We have Trunks. I think Trunks is actually not very good at all. It's a blocker. It's okay, but it is another Goku. It is another GT target, so we'll probably run 3 of this. Goten is going to be a 4 of because this is a card that we can end up just Z charging, and then we're still able to get effects off of it. So we'll do 4 of that one, and then Gohan will definitely be a 4 of as well because he's a counterplay, but also again he's a draw card that can pop off unison markers, so that's going to be important there. That's really the archetype. As I said before, this archetype is very small. I know it says 30 cards here, but that's an extra 20 cards we actually can just play around with, and we can mess around with some of the ratios here. And you have to think, this is technically going to be if you run 50 cards, this is going to be a 48 card main deck, because these 2 cards are going directly to the warp, so you're not going to have to deal with these cards. So consistency, again, is going to be very important. But we need to make sure we're actually putting good cards in the deck, so that way, yes, we're consistently drawing stuff, but we need to make sure that we actually have good cards, that we're playing. So first is going to be the super combo. So I believe I wanted to use a sparking super combo because we're going to be able to get sparking 5, I think, very easily in this deck. So there is a Vegeta, I believe that is this guy, yeah. Defensive stance Super Saiyan Vegeta. So he is a sparking 5. You guys know what sparking 5 is. Once you have 5 or more cards in the drop, you can use this to draw a card. But he is also a Vegeta GT. So what this means is that he is searchable. He also counts for our GT trait, since we do need the GT cards to play the Gokus and all the other kind of stuff. So that is pretty good there. We got 4 of that guy. Now you're gonna have to. This is essentially going to be a main. You can't run any other color. You have to run green cards. You can run green yellow. You can run green red. But you can't. Yeah, I don't think this. This just says green, right? You can run non-green battle cards. So this might be a problem. You might not be able to run multicolor cards. Actually, non-green. Like multicolor cards would count as green, but they would also count as non-green, maybe. So that's something I'm going to stay away from. I'm not going to run. I was thinking of running like Wicked Saiyans as the secret rare, because it's searchable. So it might be an option, but I don't know if you can actually run it. So we'll wait till there's a Q&A. I'm sure someone's going to try to let me know in the comments, but we'll see if I'll wait for an actual Q&A before I throw that in the deck. But if you can play it, I would probably play Wicked Saiyans. If you have the ability to play Wicked Saiyans, getting around this card's effect, I would use Wicked Saiyans. So, and it's just any green cards, right? You can only run green battle cards. Okay, perfect. Unison sounds like a good idea, right? Like Unison sounds like a good idea. Probably Piccolo. Probably Piccolo. Bardock doesn't really work. You don't really run a lot of 1-drops. It's probably gonna be Piccolo. Yeah. Now this is a cool card. So the King Piccolo technically does work because a lot of your cards are going to cost 1. So you can play these cards out for free. Yeah, you are giving your opponent a card. So that kind of sucks because you're not really an aggro deck. Yeah. However, Piccolo does have some good stuff. Because we're going to have the Z energy always, and we can KO stuff pretty easily. We have most of our effects KO stuff, and this card will probably always be a 20k. So we'll do 4 Piccolo. Because we're doing Piccolo, we're going to do Frieza, Charismatic, Villain, of course. Yeah, that's right. For whatever reason, they don't have Charismatic Villain on the front page. I don't know why. Okay. Make me look like I'm stupid. It's fine. Here we'll go Charismatic. So we'll probably do 3 Charismatic. Yeah, it's fine. So Dormant's gonna be a big thing in this deck. I feel like. Yeah, I feel like you're not gonna be able to not play Dormant in this deck. It's just not gonna work. Yeah, you kind of need it. And we're gonna do Shocking Death Ball instead. So, oh, this is an old card. So it's Sparking 5. You can KO with 2 or less, but it is a negate. But unfortunately, again, we can't run. We can't play Homicidal Clones, so we do kind of lose that in the deck. Well, the secret rare, like I said, I think if you have the ability to play Wicked Saiyans, I would play Wicked Saiyans because it's searchable. So you can combo this card and you can tap 2, and if your opponent has to choose 4 of their cards in rest mode, if they don't, You get to play this card, and then your opponent pitches 2 cards, and now you have a 40k dual attack blocker on board. This is the card I probably would play. If you can play it, because it still counts as a green card, not a non-green card. But if not, because that also would be the same thing for like Xenocell, right? But if not, you're probably just going to play Cell Max. Because Cell Max is definitely the best green Seeker rare. It's just playing Cell Max. This is also cool because this is searchable. So you can actually search this card. You can use it to basically snipe anything. So that's also an option too. We'll put Primal Carnage on here. Yeah, we'll put Primal Carnage. Broly doesn't really work. Not that I would want to play that card anyways. And then obviously Cell Max again is just crazy good. So Cell Max might be the one, but that's okay. Alright, well, so we're at 50 cards. I mean, we basically just took mostly like the 4-ofs and stuff. I do want to look through some of the cards here real quick and see if I can find something that potentially could be good, because there's a lot of other cards that might have some usage here. So I might do a little skip here. I'm going to look through some stuff and see if I can find some cool tech options for you guys. There are a lot of other cards we actually can play. I didn't even include like Faded Rivals. I didn't include turn on this TV back here. TV's in the way. So we can add the Faded Rival combination. I think that's probably a good 2-drop to have, and then obviously we can also add the Goku the Furious. Goku the Furious might not be a main deck card for this deck. I think that's just going to depend on what you're playing against, right? So for obviously, so Faded Rival here is going to be in the deck. I mean, your entire deck is either Earthlings or Saiyans, so you're going to be able to use this effect, bottom deck, whatever it is, and then play this out, KO something, ignoring barrier. That's really good. So this also kind of helps, like if you don't have a Goku to play on that particular turn, you also have this 2-drop, and then you have this 2-drop as well. And then we also have the Son Gohan combination. As I said, Kaioken here. Kaioken is very good. For 1 energy, pops a card from your opponent's hand. Now it's a 15k crit. This is very good. It is searchable off the leader. It's not searchable off of the Android 18, but it is a pretty powerful card you can run. This is a card you can run as well, which is kind of interesting. The long-rated rematch combo is actually pretty cool, but it just costs 3 energy, and we can do more stuff with 3 energy. So the other card we're going to do is the Son Gohan rare for the combo. This is a good way of just getting rid of unisons, but I think this is just a good card to run anyways in the deck. A lot of the other cards, we're trying to stay away from running too many non-GT cards, because that is a problem. You do need to have the GT targets, so not having GT cards definitely will kind of hurt the deck a little bit. So let's see. So if we can, that looks bad. Okay. So right now we're at 52 technically, because these 2 were going to get removed. So that's actually not too bad. Looking at just some ratios here, probably move down one of those. I don't think there's really any other good GT cards, right? Like is there a way of seeing if there's any GT cards? Yeah, one doesn't have anything. Android Saga? That's Android Cell Saga. Oh goodness. Neither one of those are gonna work, huh? GT Saga doesn't exist. Okay. Yeah, I tried. Well, this seems pretty solid. It said Faded Rivals. You can obviously add the Piccolo as well. Piccolo might not be a bad option actually anymore. So we actually can do Piccolo Jr. Piccolo Jr. could work. You do 2 of this guy. You might have to do 3 because it is not searchable. But now we're at 55, so it's kind of heavy. Ooh, it's a little bit heavy. We can do 1 minus dormant. I think Shocking Death Ball is good. You are going to draw a lot, so I mean, Shocking Death Ball might not be. You might be able to get away with using the actual negate that comes in the set. I think might be able to get away with it because it also does kill 4 or less. So that is actually kind of sick. Yeah, it still kills 4 or less. You have to be a Z leader to do it for free. So yeah, I think this is where you just kind of have to go with your gut and see what you would think is a better option. I'm gonna go with Shocking Death Ball. I think Shocking Death Ball is probably the better option here for the negate. Yeah, I think it's probably good. Cut that down to 2. Cut this down to 2. You don't really want to cut any of this other stuff. Yeah, all this other stuff is just good, especially because you, like, again, as you said, you need GT cards. Make sure you are seeing GT card. Maybe we'll cut down Gohan and go 10 to 3. That puts us on an exact 50 card deck because again, the 2 cards will be missing. So I think that's probably good. I think that's probably a good thing. So an adjustment you could make technically is just taking out the Unison. But the problem is when you take out the Unison, you're losing the ability of playing Dormant. And Dormant is probably your best option for, honestly, probably your best option for defense in green right now. So this deck's got a lot. It draws a lot. It's able to cycle a ton. This deck might see a TP, so if there is a TP added to the deck and it's worth playing, this deck will have an updated. I'll have a deck list down below in the comments or in the description, so you guys can check that out. And if there is an update for it, I'll just update the link and then just save it so you guys can check that out. I'll try to do that for any of the decks that come out. If there's a good TP for the deck, I'll try to add it in there if it works. But this is what I got for you guys. So nothing crazy spicy, really. I think as of right now, again, we don't have any tournament promos, and it is kind of limited by the green cards. I looked through like 70% of the battle cards, and nothing felt really good to play, especially since we're locked to just green. So I wasn't too impressed with stuff that you could play. There was some stuff you could play, but it just didn't feel the best. So, but I do think this could be an interesting deck to play. We'll have to do some research a little bit more, and once we get closer to the set, see how it's going to do. So thank you guys for watching. As always, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate all the support, and I will see you guys in the next video.